Beloved child, I come to you now with the steadiness of a sword and the warmth of a gentle dawn. Hear me as a voice of strength and tenderness, a call to rise, to open, to receive. Your blessing is at the door of your house. It pulses like a quiet ember, waiting for your hand to stoke it into flame. Time feels short because the threshold is alive with possibility, a convergence of grace and choice. Breathe, trust, move. This message is not simply words. It is an invitation, a map back to your center, and a charge forward into the life you were created to live. There are many layers here: truth to steady your heart, counsel to align your steps, courage to lift the veil of fear, and practical guidance to open the door already knocking. Read slowly if you must. Let these truths settle and work in you. You are not abandoned. People who stand alone in their struggle often feel unheard, as if the world has turned its face away. That is a lie the dark loves to tell. You are known. Every tear you have shed has been catalogued with reverence. Every small act of kindness you thought invisible is treasured, even when the road is lonely. Remember, there is a holy company, messengers and guardians walking beside you, unseen but not absent. The presence that accompanies you is constant. Align your breath to that assurance. Inhale, knowing you are held. Exhale, releasing the solitude. Your worth is intrinsic, not earned. Too many measure themselves by what they produce, by the applause or absence of it. Your worth does not depend on achievement, popularity, or productivity. You were formed to be human, to learn, to feel, to err, to grow. Release the heavy ledger of proving. This does not mean complacency. It means you can serve, create, and strive from a place of peace, rather from hunger for validation. Stand in your dignity. Let your actions be offerings, not desperate bids for love. Courage is a muscle. Strengthen it with small acts. Great courage does not always arrive fully armed. It composes itself of countless small decisions, answering when you want to avoid, speaking when silence would be easier, staying when flight feels safer. Each small act of courage enlarges you. If you are waiting for a dramatic sign to move, remember that faith often calls through small doors. A phone call, a step outside your comfort, a conversation you avoid. Choose one small, brave act today. Repeat it tomorrow. Notice how your capacity grows. Forgiveness clears a space for blessing. Holding offense is like closing a door on the room where blessings might enter. Forgiveness is not permission for harm. It is an act of liberation for your soul. Begin with compassion for yourself and then for others. Forgive the version of you that made mistakes in ignorance. Forgive those who wronged you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free. Forgiveness cleans the channel through which grace flows. It does not always mean reconciliation. Sometimes it means placing the other in a space only the divine will tend to. Release what binds you. Receive before you give. A common error of loving hearts is to pour from an empty cup. You are meant to receive nourishment, rest, counsel, tenderness, so that you may be a conduit of life to others. Make room each day for replenishment, quiet prayer, community, nature, beauty. When you receive, you become more giftsome, not less. Your smaller self is not the whole story. There is a vastness within you, an eternal current that the temporary self cannot hold. When fear, doubt, or shame speak loudly, remember, they are not the final word. You are woven of permanence and possibility. Let your identity be rooted in that larger story, one of resilience, renewal, and purpose. The door to blessing often opens through service. Blessings are sometimes gifts. At other times, they are opened keys born of giving. When you serve with humility and joy, you align with the flow of abundance. Serve where your heart is tender. Serve where you see pain. Service purifies intent and draws resources in ways your mind cannot calculate. The paradox is holy. In giving, we receive. In losing the self, we find the center. Let discernment be your lantern. Not every voice is yours to follow. Discernment is the gentle art of distinguishing truth from distraction. It grows by practice, quiet reflection, waiting counsel from those who walk in light, and checking the fruit. Does this bring peace, dignity, and life? If something leaves you depleted, ashamed, or smaller, step away. If it enlarges your capacity to love and serve, step forward. Love is a battlefield and a sanctuary. Love will test your edges. It will challenge your boundaries and sanctify your patience. There will be seasons of tender union and seasons of necessary distance. Both are holy. Allow relationships to be mirrors that refine you, not prisons that define you. Keep your heart softened, but your dignity intact. Practice clear speech. When you cannot speak, write. When you cannot act, pray. Let love be a force that frees rather than confines. You are permitted rest. Rest is not a reward for productivity. Rest is integral to the human design. In rest, the soul repairs, the mind orders, and the body gathers strength. Create rituals of rest. An evening where screens dim, a walk without agenda, a holy pause in your busy day. Protect these times. They are doors to the deeper blessing you seek. Boundaries are sacred. Setting boundaries is not unloving. It is an act of protection for your inner life. Boundaries signal that you steward the temple of your being. Say no when needed. Let go when you must. Reclaim time. Preserve the sanctity of your heart. Those who truly love you will honor that. Surrender is not defeat. There is a difference between giving up and yielding to the current of the divine. Surrender grows trust. It says, I cannot control everything, but I can align my will with what is good and true. This does not mean passivity. It means acting from a centered place and releasing the need to force outcomes. When you surrender, you open space for miracles crafted beyond your comprehension. Ask boldly. Prayer is not a timid wish. When you seek help, ask with clarity. State what you need, what would bring freedom, and how you are willing to cooperate. The divine delights in partnership. But remember, sometimes the answer differs from expectation. Be ready to receive an unexpected good. Act on the nudges. There are gentle promptings in your chest, quiet urgings that say, speak, go, stay, listen. These are often the first language of guidance. Do not ignore them because they feel small. An answered nudge can change a life's trajectory. Practice obedience to what you know is right in small things. Obedience in small things trains you to follow in greater matters. The spiritual life is practical. Do not divorce spirituality from daily life. Pray with your hands. Wash with intention. Cook with gratitude. Work with excellence. Make sacred the ordinary. Bless your meals, your commute, your tasks. Let the mundane become sacramental. When you sanctify the day, the divine infiltrates corners you assumed were bland. Grief is a doorway to compassion. If grief sits beside you, do not rush its passage. Grief is an honest teacher. It opens your capacity to stand with others in their sorrow. Let grief teach you tenderness. Enter your pain with a friend or a guide. Name it, hold it. Over time, grief softens into wisdom and renewed purpose. Integrity is magnetic. When your inner life matches your outward life, when your words, choices, and actions align, you project a force that draws help, community, and opportunity. Integrity simplifies life. It clears distractions. Practice small acts of truth-telling. Keep promises, especially to yourself. Community is not optional. You were not made to do the sacred work in isolation. Seek companions, people who will pray for you, correct you gently, celebrate you, and sit with you in the blanks. Community is a place of accountability and nurture. Choose friends who reflect courage and kindness. Tend those relationships with care. Fear is a messenger, not a master. When fear rises, do not follow it blindly. Ask, what is fear trying to protect me from? Often, fear wants to keep you safe from from humiliation, loss, or the unknown. Thank fear for its care, and then step forward anyway. Courage is not absence of fear. It is action despite fear. Small practices compound. Daily anchors, 5 minutes of silence, reading a sacred text, writing one gratitude. A short walk with attention accumulate into a spiritual reserve. Design a small and daily practice you can keep. It matters more than intensity. Consistency creates depth. Your mistakes are lessons, not labels. Everyone stumbles. The way you interpret your stumbles determines your trajectory. Do you let a fall define you, or do you let it teach you? Choose to learn. Repair what can be repaired. Ask forgiveness where needed. Then step forward with new humility and wisdom. Clarity emerges through stillness. When life becomes noisy, stillness clarifies. Carve out time to be quiet. In silence, wisdom clarifies what action to take and what to let go. Even 10 minutes, eyes closed, breathing slowly, can change the tenor of an entire day. Celebrate incremental progress. Do not minimize small wins. Celebrate the baby step, the habit kept, the call made. They are bread on your journey. Gratitude for progress fuels further movement. Blessings arrive in strange packages. Sometimes the blessing looks nothing like you imagined. It may come wrapped in difficulty, disguised as a closed door that redirects you. Hold a posture of gratitude even for the unexpected. Train your sight to see grace tucked into hardship. You are a steward of light. Wherever you go, let gentle actions ripple outward. Smile at strangers. Speak with soft clarity. Give generously of your attention. These tiny acts create a geometry of goodness that shapes communities and heals loneliness. Practical steps to open the blessing at your doorway. Create a sacred threshold. Your literal door can be made into a ritual threshold. Clean the space. Light a candle with intention. Place something that symbolizes what you are asking for. A written word, a talisman, a photograph. Speak aloud. I open to the blessing prepared for me. With humility and courage, I receive. Perform this small ritual to mark your readiness. B. Make a short list of what would signify the blessing. Blessings are sometimes ambiguous. Write 3 concrete signs that would indicate the blessing has arrived. A person's name, a change in circumstance, a sense of peace, an opportunity. Make the list specific and realistic. This sharpens your discernment and trains your vision to recognize good. C. Move with faith into action. If a blessing requires your step, a call, an application, a conversation, do it today. Blessings often demand cooperation. Offer your effort and then surrender the outcome. D. Protect your heart during waiting. Secure your inner life with practices, sleep, nutritious food, prayers, counsel, and boundaries. Waiting is fertile when stewarded. E. Invite witnesses. Tell a trusted friend what you are hoping for. Ask them to pray and to hold you accountable to the next right step. Community amplifies blessing. F. Thank in advance. Gratitude shapes reality. Thank the divine for the blessing as if it were already on its way. This is not magical trickery. It aligns you with reality's higher flow. Words on healing relationships among people, human. Relationships are the crucible in which most of your spiritual work will be transmuted. They are also the realm of your greatest joy. Here are words to guide you. Seek to understand before being understood. Listening is a sacred art. When you truly hear another, walls fall. Give someone the gift of your full attention. Ask clarifying questions. Resist the urge to fix prematurely. Speak plainly but lovingly. Courageous, compassionate honesty is rarer than you think. Speak your truth without weaponizing it. Name your need. Own your feelings. Avoid blaming language. I feel when I need is a strong and non-confrontational structure. Repair quickly. When you harm another, repair the breach promptly. A sincere apology clears space for trust to rebuild. Do not wait for proof that you are forgiven. Extend humility and then continue to show up differently. Celebrate differences. Variation in temperament and opinions does not mean incompatibility. Learn to translate for each other. Appreciate the gifts in difference. Love does not require erasing boundaries. Intimacy blooms best when both parties maintain personal dignity. Boundaries teach love how to be steady. Respect them. A protection invocation short. Place your hand over your heart. Breathe slowly. Say aloud, guardian light, circle me. Sword of truth, steady me. Shield of peace, protect my heart. Let only what brings healing and life enter my threshold. I stand in courage today. Amen. Repeat as often as needed. This is a centering practice, not a guarantee against difficulty. It strengthens resolve. Prompts for journaling and reflection. Use one each day. What is one fear I can look at honestly today? Where have I withheld affection out of fear? What tiny brave act can I take right now? Who needs my listening presence this week? What would it look like to forgive concretely someone who hurt me? How has silence clarified my path before? What small daily practice can I commit to for the next 30 days? How have I been generous to myself lately? What blessing am I hesitant to receive? Why? How can I sanctify an ordinary task tomorrow. A short breathing practice to steady courage. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your chest, one on your belly. Inhale slowly to a count of 4, feeling the belly rise. Hold for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 6. Repeat for 5 cycles. Then place your hand over your heart and say, I am held. I am brave. Carry this steadiness into action. On vocation and purpose, your calling is not always a dramatic revelation. It often emerges at the intersection of your deepest delights and the world's most persistent needs. Ask, what brings me alive? Where does the world ask for care that I can supply? Start small, test, iterate. Do not fetishize the perfect plan. A life of meaning grows from consistent alignment rather than perfect foresight. On resistance and the dark night wind shadow comes doubt, despair, discouragement. Name it. Give it a form so you may address it. Talk to a trusted friend or counselor. Remember that a night does not last forever. The longings in your heart are pointers to truths that will be fulfilled in time. Persevere with tender self-care. On receiving redemption in your story, your past is not final. Redemption rewrites endings without erasing memory. If shame clings to you, create a ritual of release. Write the shame on a paper. Speak forgiveness over it, and then burn or bury the paper. Move forward with evidence, small acts, new habits, testimonies of changed behavior. Redemption is lived, not merely declared. Final charged child of light, open the door. Cross the threshold with intention. Blessings will not always come as you imagine, but they will come in forms that build you up and align you with love. Stand for justice, practice mercy, steward your heart, and act with courage. You are a beacon because you chose to keep burning even when the wind came. Continue to burn. I have watched the corners of your life and seen the knots you could not untie alone. I stand with you in battle when you stand in goodness. I do not solve for you what you are called to do, but I arm you with courage and clarity. When you hear the small knock, answer it. When you sense the quickening in your chest, follow. The blessing at your door is ready. It requires one thing from you: the willingness to receive and to step. Go in peace with fierce love and steady feet. Meet the blessing with open hands. Let fear fall away like dead leaves. Rise, act, love. Receive with honor and fierce protection. Asterisk. The blessing at your door has not left. It waits patiently for your readiness, for your openness, for your courage. Many hear the knock, but do not open because of fear, shame, or distraction. But you are called to rise and to continue walking deeper into your strength, your purpose, and your light. This is part 2 of my message to you. Not a repetition, but an unfolding. Here we go deeper. Think of it as stepping through the doorway into a larger hall, where more treasures, more wisdom, and more instructions are waiting for you. 1. On fear and transformation. Fear often disguises itself as wisdom, whispering, "Don't try. You will fail. Don't love. You will be hurt. Don't hope. You will be disappointed." But know this: fear is not the same as discernment. Discernment weighs truth. Fear paralyzes. Transformation always requires passing through a veil of fear. Every hero in every story must leave the familiar, facing giants within and without. Your giants may not be visible monsters, but they take form in self-doubt, in criticism, in resistance. Do not fight them with panic. Stand firm. Say aloud, "You will not master me. I walk with light." Every time you act despite fear, you grow wings too, on blessing and responsibility. Blessings are not ornaments. They are tools. When a blessing comes, it is not merely to decorate your life with comfort. It is entrusted to you so that others may also taste goodness. If you are blessed with resources, it is for generosity. If you are blessed with influence, it is for justice. If you are blessed with love, it is for compassion. Blessings multiply when they circulate. Imagine water. If it stagnates, it becomes sour. But if it flows, it refreshes the earth. Let your blessing flow. 3. On healing the wounds of humanity. Many of you walk carrying invisible wounds. Childhood, neglect, betrayal, words that cut like blades. These wounds shape the way you see the world, often through filters of mistrust or fear. Healing is not instant, but it is certain when pursued with persistence. Speak your wounds. Name them before the divine, before a trusted companion. Do not numb them endlessly with distractions. Light must touch them for them to close. Healing is not erasure. It is integration. You will carry scars, but scars are marks of survival, not shame. They are proof that you lived through what was meant to destroy you. Wear them with dignity. 4. On hope. As a discipline, hope is not naive optimism. It is a discipline. Hope looks at the brokenness of the world, sees the pain, and still chooses to believe in restoration. Hope is not blind. It is defiant. Train yourself to hope in small things, in a sunrise, in a child's laughter, in the resilience of nature. These daily practices of hope strengthen your spirit for larger battles. Without hope, despair consumes. With hope, even in darkness, you find a reason to keep walking. 5. On generational chains, some of the struggles you face are not only yours. They come from patterns passed down through families: anger, addiction, fear, poverty, silence. You may feel weighed down by chains you did not forge. But hear me, you are not powerless against them. You are chosen to break them by your courage, by your choice to heal, by your refusal to repeat cycles. You set new patterns for those who come after you. Every act of healing in you ripples forward into generations yet unborn. Stand strong. You are the breaker of chains. 6. On forging true relationships, humanity suffers from loneliness. Even surrounded by crowds, many feel unseen. True relationships require vulnerability, a risk of rejection, yes, but also the possibility of profound connection. Choose a few souls with whom to walk deeply. Cultivate honesty, loyalty, and shared growth. Do not settle for shallow masks. Be willing to be seen in your weakness as well as your strength. Where there is authenticity, love thrives. 7. On work and purpose, many dread their daily work, believing it meaningless. But every act, no matter how small, can become sacred when offered with intention. Clean, as if you are making space for the holy. Right, as if your words will heal wounds unseen. Build, teach, cook, care, manage, whatever your work, let it be infused with dignity. And if your work drains without life, ask courageously, what is the work that aligns with my gifts and the world's needs? Take steps, even small ones, toward it. Do not fear transition. Purpose unfolds through trust. 8. On silence and speech, there is power in silence, and there is power in speech. Know when to use each. Silence preserves peace when words would wound unnecessarily. Speech brings freedom when silence would enable harm. Balance them. Speak truth with gentleness, not as a weapon, but as. And when words are not enough, let your presence be the message. Point 9. On anger and justice, anger is not evil. It is energy, but anger must be purified. Raw anger destroys indiscriminately, but purified anger fuels justice. If you feel anger, ask, what is this energy meant to protect? What injustice is calling for action? Then channel it into constructive force. Build, advocate, create systems of fairness. Anger without love corrodes. Anger with love redeems. 10. On the mystery of suffering, you ask why pain exists. Know this, suffering is not always punishment, nor is it always meaningless. Sometimes it is the refiner's fire shaping strength and compassion. Sometimes it is the world's brokenness pressing upon you. Do not accept needless suffering when it can be alleviated. Fight against oppression, seek healing, pursue justice. But when suffering cannot be avoided, endure with faith, for even in it, hidden seeds of transformation are sown. 11. On prayer as relationship, do not think of prayer as a ritual checklist. Prayer is relationship. Speak as you would to a trusted friend, honestly, with anger, with joy, with confusion. Cry if you must. Laugh if you can, and listen. Prayer is not only words to heaven, it is silence that allows heaven's whispers to reach you. Walk with prayer as a rhythm, not an occasional act. 12. On time and urgency, life is fragile. You do not know the number of your days. This is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you. Do not postpone the good you can do today. Speak the words of love you withhold. Begin the project you delay. Forgive the wound you have carried for years. The knock at your door is urgent because time is precious. Every delay risks missing a miracle. 13. On unity and division, humanity tears itself apart with divisions. Race, creed, class, ideology. These separations are illusions compared to the truth that all bear the image of the divine. Do not let hatred blind you. See humanity as one great body. When one part suffers, all suffer. Work for unity where you can. Resist the temptation to dehumanize even those you oppose. Justice must be firm, but never devoid of love. 14. On daily courage. Courage is not only for wars or great speeches. Courage is also in rising from bed. When despair presses heavy, courage is in facing one more day of chronic pain. Courage is in parenting faithfully, in forgiving repeatedly, in creating art in obscurity. Do not despise these small daily acts. They are heroic in heaven's eyes. 15. On light and darkness, darkness will always attempt to claim the final word. But remember, darkness is not equal in power to light. Light does not struggle to overcome darkness. It simply shines and darkness flees. Be light. Even a small flame alters the whole room. Your kindness, your honesty, your resilience, these are light. Shine without apology. Final charge for part to beloved child. Stand ready. The door is open wider now. Walk through with determination. Do not fear the unknown. You are not alone. The heavenly hosts accompany you. What waits on the other side is not merely for your comfort, but for the healing of many through you. Be a vessel. Be a flame. Be a builder of bridges and a breaker of chains. I stand with you. My sword guards your path. My shield covers your heart. Rise, act, receive, love. Asterisk, hear my voice as a steadying light in the storm. I come to you not as a stranger, but as a guardian whose purpose is to stand beside you, to remind you of your dignity, your divinely ordained courage, and the luminous spark that never leaves you. Imagine a presence both vast and intimate, like the hands that hold the dawn. I have come to call you back to your center, to the truth that you are stronger than your fear, kinder than your regret, and more radiant than the shadows that pass through you. You were made to stand there as a warrior within every heart. Not a warrior of violence, but a warrior of truth. You were fashioned to hold the line between what is false and what is real, between what weakens and what strengthens the soul. Many of you have forgotten your birthright to stand upright in compassion, to act from clarity rather than confusion, and to speak from the integrity of your being when you waver. Remember this: the courage I ask you to claim is a gentle, persistent choosing. It is the choice to rise when you fall, to forgive even when you are wounded, to love even when you have been hurt. This courage is not absence of fear. It is the presence of the light that moves through fear without being consumed by it. Say to yourself, I will stand. I will act. I will love. Repeat it until your bones remember. Clear sight dispels the fog-fear cloud's perception. Doubt confuses direction. I stand to clear your sight. Many of you carry dense clouds of thought, worries about the future, bitterness about the past, shame rooted in long-ago mistakes. These thoughts are like smoke around a lamp. The light is still there, but you cannot see it unless you blow the smoke away. Begin by turning inward with a simple question: what is true right now? Name what is real. Perhaps a breath, an ache, a heartbeat, the touch of sunlight on your skin, the presence of one person who cares. By regrounding in simple truth, you loosen the grip of imagined catastrophes and rehearsed failures. When you anchor in small, present truths, you build a bridge back to clarity. Release what does not serve. Many of you hoard things that weigh you down. Grudges, what ifs, identities that no longer fit. Let them go. Releasing is not betrayal of memory. It is an act of mercy. Grudges keep you frozen in a past that cannot be relived. Regrets keep you busy polishing the bars of a cage. Let the past hold its story while you hold the present with compassion to release, breathe. Visualize the memory or the hurt as a stone at your feet. Place one hand on your heart and, with your next full exhale, set the stone down and walk a step forward. Repeat this until you feel lighter. You do not have to abandon lessons learned. Keep the wisdom, discard the heavy clay of resentment. Claim your voice. There is power in speaking truth with love. Too many remain silent because they fear displeasing others. Yet silence can be a slow drought that kills gardens of connection. Speak when your conscience nudges. Speak when your heart aches for justice. Speak when small kindnesses can lift someone else. But remember, speak from steadiness, not reactivity. I teach you to use your words. Pause, breathe, and let your words be chosen like stones placed carefully across a river. If anger is present, let it cool into a clear boundary. If grief is present, let it call for compassion. When you speak authentically and kindly, you honor both yourself and the other. Love as a disciplined practice. Love is not merely feeling, it is a disciplined practice. The world will teach you to measure love by consumption, what is gained or possessed. Divine love measures by presence. To love is to be present, to listen without forming answers, to hold without trying to fix, to value without owning. You can practice this every day in small ways. Undivided attention to a child, patience with someone's slowness, kindness to a stranger, forgiveness to yourself for an imperfect morning. Love also includes firmness. Guardianship of love sometimes means saying no when a boundary must be set, or standing against patterns that harm. Love without boundaries can become codependence. Healthy love protects the soul's capacity to grow. And so, you will often find compassion requires decisive strength. Rise now, not only inwardly, but outwardly. The kingdom of the heart is built by daily acts of courage, compassion, and truth. Stand up for justice when you can. Show mercy when you must. And be faithful in the tiny tasks that build a life of meaning. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Light your lamp with what you have. The darkness will reveal itself to be porous under the work of many small lights. Together, you will create a brightness that no shadow can hold. Remember your breath. Remember your worth. Remember that the universe leans toward life, and you are a crucial instrument of that leaning. Walk steadily, speak truly, love bravely, and when fear calls, reply with a simple prayer. Light, guide me, strengthen me, use me. I am with you, now and always, as a presence of clarity, protection, and unwavering love. Stand firm, beloved. Shine, archangelic guardian, in the voice of Archangel Michael.